Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the search for missing fisherman Tom Kelly, which resumed over the weekend, the Mount Underwood wildfire gets under control, and Kitimat Search and Rescue assists 6 stranded fishermen.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. I'm Jaylene Matthews. We'll begin with our news that's local to the Northwest. The search for a man who was lost in the Skeena River in July recently had a development as a new specialized team from out of province came to lend their aid. CFTK-TV's Kale Maslin has more.
Last week, the Hatarian Emergency Aquatic Response Team, or HART team, traveled from their home base in Manitoba all the way to Terrace to try and complete the search for a man who was swept away by the Skeena River. Thomas Kelly had gone to the river on July 12th to fish, and he hasn't been seen since then. Thomas's wife Shauna ended up in contact with the HART team after talking with others to try and keep looking when the local RCMP called off their initial search.
I spoke with the K9 team about day 4 after Tom went missing. Reached out to them trying to get some land sections searched, and unfortunately at that time they weren't able to put together enough days to come, but they had mentioned that the HART team was the best in the country at what they do, and so I reached out to the HART team day 4 as well, I believe, after I spoke with her. And since then, I've stayed in touch with them throughout our searching. We've put together quite a few search efforts throughout the past little over a month since Tom went missing on July 12th. And the HART team has now finally been able to put together enough days to be able to come.
One of the reasons that the HART team was called up for this search is because of their tools that they have at their disposal to complement the methods used by others helping with the search.
Being an underwater recovery team, we have various sonars. So 90% what we do is imaging. And imaging has its challenges. So deep, swift water is one of the biggest challenges.
We have an ROV. We also have an underwater camera. And our first tool is the dogs, of course. And then once we get a really good idea of where to search, then we'll put in those tools at that point. We also have boats as well, but they're more tailored to the lake.
The newest social media update from the team said this past Sunday was the final day their 2 teams could be in Terrace for the search. But based on what they've seen and experienced beforehand, they are confident that Thomas has surfaced somewhere, and they're holding on to the hope that they'll find him. Anyone looking to help with the search can do so by donating on the HART team's Facebook page or the GoFundMe page set up by Shauna Kelly. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Kale Maslin.
Kitimat Search and Rescue say that this past Saturday, August 16th at 3:45 p.m., they were tasked by the RCMP to assist 6 fishermen who were stranded along the Camano River southeast of Kitimat. They say that 7 KSAR members responded to the call, working to safely extract the individuals by helicopter and transport them to Camano. They say that despite the remote location, the team successfully completed the rescue without further incident. Kitimat Marine Rescue was also dispatched to the transport members from Camano back to Kitimat. Search manager Kelly Marsh said all 6 fishermen were brought back safely thanks to the coordinated efforts of SAR members and the strong support from partners. Kitimat Search and Rescue want to remind the public that river conditions and access in remote areas can change quickly and become hazardous. Proper planning, including notifying someone of your travel plans, carrying safety equipment, and wearing personal flotation devices is vital for ensuring safe outdoor adventures. Air Canada planned to operate more than half of its scheduled flights today. The country's largest airline says its first flights took off around 4 p.m. Eastern Time with a focus on international outbounds. Thousands of passengers are still scrambling to reach their destinations after the airline reached a tentative deal with the union representing thousands of its flight attendants, ending a 3-day strike. In announcing the tentative deal today, the union said that unpaid work is over after making it a central issue in its push for a new contract.
They were using this as a crutch, and over the weekend, The flight attendants made sure that that crutch snapped.
Workers' unions say they've been emboldened by the last 24 hours and flight attendants' ability to get a deal at the table after defying a federal arbitration order.
I very strongly hope that the message that this sends to employers and to our federal government is stay out of interference in collective bargaining and do not expect government to ride to your rescue.
The Liberal government has invoked Section 107 of the Canada Labour Code multiple times, including in recent port and rail strikes. But some Labour leaders hope the Air Canada instance was their last.
The message to parliamentarians is that this section of the Canada Labour Code has got to go.
Asked today if she was concerned that how this strike played out has laid the groundwork for Section 107 to no longer be a viable tool in future disputes, Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu's office wouldn't say.
I think what is going to happen over the next little while is Section 107 of the Canada Labour Code that some people argue has been abused in recent years by the federal government, is maybe hit a wall, and it's maybe there's going to be the brakes put on it. Because the only power that directive has is when workers comply.
Flight attendants are denying your back to work order. The government is also being accused of misreading the public mood.
Their decision to force flight attendants back to work so quickly actually inflamed the issue. It forced them to defy orders of government. It sort of really went against what I think the Carney brand is built on. And to many Canadians, that decision didn't really feel right.
The question is now whether other unions would react similarly if talks break down.
Coming up next, locals scramble to protect their homes in Nova Scotia. Things are looking up in Port Alberni as a formerly out-of-control wildfire is now being sustained. CTV's Andy Garland reports.
Rain and cooler temperatures over the past several days has tamed the out-of-control wildfire outside Port Alberni.
Received approximately 36 millimeters of rain, and what that has done is really assisted us in lowering fire behavior.
The more than 3,600 hectare Mount Underwood fire saw minimal growth over the weekend due to the rain. Because of that, the 160 firefighters on the ground, along with 10 helicopters and 21 pieces of heavy equipment, are able to access several areas of that fire that they weren't able to.
We're meeting our objectives and we are very well resourced on that fire. And in the end, it's not aviation that puts fires out, it's crews on the ground.
As things move in the right direction containing the fire, opening up the main road to Banfield, however, where roughly 500 homes are still without power, still remains unclear at this time. BC Hydro estimates 50 to 60 poles will need to be replaced.
Burnt poles broken, lines down that we have to replace. In total, it's about 20 kilometers worth of line.
BC Hydro says that it can take up to 2 weeks and maybe more to fully restore power, adding that work to replace the poles and lines have yet to start due to safety, which is having a huge impact on the economy in and around Banfield.
Our lodges, our restaurants, and folks that would normally be very, very busy with the tourism season.
If there's a silver lining to the last 3 weeks of unprecedented wildfires in the Mid-Island, it could be the remaining homes under evacuation order from the Westville Ridge fire were allowed to go back yesterday, and no homes were lost.
Those people were going back into the most affected areas. It was our honor to welcome them back, and there was tears on our end and tears on their end.
Thankfully, no homes are endangered near Port Alberni as crews work towards containing a fire of this size that has rarely been seen on Vancouver Island. Andy Garland, CTV News.
Across the country, Nova Scotians are also dealing with a massive blaze, and locals are scrambling to protect their homes. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has more.
Rob Howie is back at work after scrambling over the weekend with his wife and 2 children. As fire trucks raced towards West Dalhousie, Howie traveled in the opposite direction as an out-of-control wildfire burned near his home.
I've been living in a camper up over the mountain.
According to Nova Scotia's Department of Natural Resources, the wildfire has grown to more than 3 square kilometers and more than 100 homes are evacuated. Annapolis County remains under a state of emergency. Howie applauds the provincial firefighters, volunteers, and crews from other provinces who are working in dangerous conditions.
Couldn't be doing a better job, and I tell you, there's a lot of brave, hard-working people putting a lot of effort into it. They couldn't be doing any better.
Deputy Warden Dustin Enslow says many people are now thanking the firefighters for the work being done.
We're continuing to see extreme positivity and clapping whenever they see fire trucks.
Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston says the efforts to douse water on homes in the area to keep them from burning is working.
Our teams spent a good part of the weekend setting up preventative measures.
This area received some rain, not a lot by Nova Scotia standards, but any amount of rainfall helps the firefighters as they continue to battle the wildfire in very hot and dry conditions.
It definitely did help, and we finally had rain on the site.
But more rain and hard work around the clock will be needed before this wildfire is under control. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, West Dalhousie, Nova Scotia.
No damage has been reported after a minor earthquake struck off the BC coast. Earthquake Canada says the 3.6 magnitude quake was reported at 7:17 p.m. yesterday, about 18 kilometers southeast of Port Renfrew. The agency says the quake was felt in parts of southern Vancouver Island. The quake comes months after two earthquakes at 5 magnitude or above struck in BC in February, one near Sechelt and the other off the coast of Port Alice. Now let's take a look at your Northwest weather report. Tonight on the North Coast, expect conditions to be cloudy, a 70% chance of showers changing to 30% chance of showers after midnight, temperature steady near 12 degrees. Over the next few days on the North Coast, expect a mix of sun and clouds, but no precipitation in the forecast, daily highs between 17 and 19 degrees, overnight lows between 11 and 13 degrees. Tonight in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect it to be cloudy with a 60% chance of showers, winds from the south at 30 kilometers an hour, gusting to 50, becoming light this evening. Winds becoming from the south, gusting to 40 overnight, a low of 10 degrees. Over the next few days in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect the weather to warm up and those summer conditions to come back. Temperatures rising to 26 on Friday, overnight lows between 9 and 11 degrees. Tonight in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, it's looking mainly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers early this evening and a risk of a thunderstorm. Clearing this evening, fog patches developing before morning, winds from the southwest at 20 kilometers an hour, becoming light this evening, a low of +2. Over the next few days in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, expect a chance of showers tomorrow, then steady sunshine for the rest of the week, daily highs between 16 and 27 degrees, overnight lows between 4 and 8 degrees. Checking your Northwest highways now. On Highway 16, there's construction in Prince Rupert with a detour in effect. Also bridge maintenance, road maintenance, utility work, shoulder maintenance, and paving operations underway. On Highway 37, watch for mowing, bridge construction, and roadside brushing and sweeping operations. On Highway 37A, watch for paving operations, and there's a section with falling rocks. On the Niska Highway, there's road construction, and on Telegraph Creek Road, watch for muddy sections. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, new developments to assist autistic individuals. New developments in technology are assisting autistic individuals with communication, creating better opportunities for connection. CTV's Kevin Fleming reports.
He's watching a video of a participant using a virtual headset to type out words from letters seen in a digital world. Diwakar Krishnamurtha is a professor at the Schulich School of Engineering and came up with the system.
My son is non-speaking, when he was diagnosed, we were given the doom and gloom dire scenario. But actually, we discovered that he's quite a smart guy with a lot of innermost thoughts to convey.
It's those thoughts that Krishnamurtha wants to unlock for his son and other families dealing with similar situations. Manaf Abu Farf says he spent thousands of dollars on speech therapists for his 16-year-old daughter with poor results. And when asked how it feels to communicate now, she said she was trapped inside for 16 years.
So actually for us, we are discovering our daughter. We are having our daughter for the first time. We are seeing our daughter for the first time. That's a huge turnover for us as a family and for Jenna as a person.
Travis Dow has traveled the country working with nonverbal participants for the project and says the system can include a virtual therapist to help them communicate successfully.
If you're dealing with hardware, it's, you get it as is, you buy it in the store, you make it yourself, whatever the case is. But with software, we can change so much. We can really, make it bespoke to each individual person. And that's, that can be really huge for these people.
Now Abu Farf says the world is opening up for his daughter. And Jana likes it.
What does that mean for you using this technology? She said it opens doors for me. And when we asked her which doors you are talking about, she said the door of university. She is dreaming to go to a university. And we asked her, what do you like? And she said, I like maths.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
U.S. President Donald Trump has offered his assurances that American troops won't be sent to help defend Ukraine against Russia after seeming to leave open the possibility the day before. Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and other European leaders at the White House yesterday as part of an effort to end the war. Here's CTV's Joy Malbin with the recap.
The Ukrainian president wore a suit to the White House, not his usual military uniform.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Volodymyr Zelensky voiced his appreciation for Donald Trump's efforts to end the war and even thanked the First Lady for her letter to Vladimir Putin expressing concern for Ukraine's children.
Using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States.
All carefully calibrated to avoid the disaster of his last meeting in the Oval Office.
You don't have the cards right now. We're all working for the same goal.
This time, Ukraine's interests were shielded by the leaders of Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, the European Union, and NATO's Secretary General.
When we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well.
Mr. Putin, did you underestimate Ukraine? Following the president's one-on-one with Putin in Alaska, the European leaders pushed for security guarantees and a ceasefire. But Trump isn't convinced it's necessary.
Your idea to ask for a truce or a ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity.
We can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop.
In 2014, Russia annexed Crimea. Now 3.5 years after it declared war, Russia controls almost 20% of Ukraine. Trump has said Zelensky may have to give up territory. Caught on a hot mic, Trump signaled he believes Putin is willing to make a deal for him.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that? As crazy as it sounds.
Donald Trump says he's working on arranging a meeting between Zelensky and Putin so they can discuss the terms of a ceasefire and who will get Ukrainian territory seized by Russia. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Turning to the markets now, Canada's main stock index finished lower today, weighed down by losses in basic materials stocks, while U.S. markets were mixed. The Canadian dollar dropped 0.2 cents. The price of gold fell by $19.30. Oil was down 93 cents. Natural gas dropped 12 cents. Aluminum fell by $13. In Toronto, the TSX was down almost 99 points. The Venture Index fell by 15 points. In New York, the Nasdaq fell by almost 315 points, and the Dow was up by 10 points. Still ahead, a groundbreaking solar innovation. The strange sound one woman heard tapping on the roof of her house had an unexpected outcome. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
Clunk, 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 clunk.
Sounds Eliza Lyon says were enough to wake her around 7 Monday morning.
All I heard is multiple bang sound, and it was loud.
About a half hour later, she came across this post in her neighborhood chat group. It included a photo of a hot air balloon that appears to be touching her roof.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my house. There's a hot air balloon on top of the roof. That's what that sound was.
The Lyons neighbor, Daryl, says he saw the hot air balloon while walking his dog.
It was super low. Yeah, like I was looking at it and looking at the rooftops, and you could tell it was not very far off of the rooftops.
He says as it got to the cul-de-sac just past the Lyons house, the basket was spinning.
When I got home, they had come over and approached me and asked me if I'd seen a balloon had bumped their roof. But I hadn't seen that part of it, obviously, it was out of sight. But I just putting two and two together, the basket spinning, I'm pretty sure that isn't a normal thing.
The company tells CTV News its hot air balloon did not land on, nor did it hit any homes when landing in the nearby Edgemont neighborhood.
I was like, did that wreck the roof? It was just like unbelievable. I'm like, how can that balloon go so low?
There's no visible damage from afar, but the Lyons plan to get someone to take a closer look to be sure. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Brilliant young minds are being honored by Time magazine this month, and ABC News spoke with one young innovator who came up with a brilliant invention. Danny New reports.
And it goes a little something like this.
Time has just released its first ever Girls of the Year edition, honoring 10 young trailblazers around the world.
She's been making, she's been born to.
This past week, I spoke with one of its youngest honorees, Rebecca Young, who has become famous for thinking up an invention so brilliantly simple, it's hard to believe it didn't exist already.
Did you know immediately, like, oh, that's a fantastic idea?
Yeah, pretty much.
Here it is, what Rebecca calls the SPHB, the solar-powered heated blanket.
In the UK, it's very cold and stuff, so whenever I go out, I've seen like homeless people and stuff, so I thought that would be a good idea.
2 years ago, a then 11-year-old Rebecca was brainstorming ideas to help the unhoused community in her hometown of Glasgow, Scotland, and started sketching out the concept for a heated blanket powered by little foldable solar panels. As you can see, her sketch is quite detailed, using phrases such as polyester microfiber and sodium acetate.
You were talking about sodium acetate at 11 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of research for it.
She entered the blanket into the UK Primary Engineer competition, and out of 70,000 entrants, she took first place. Eventually, a prototype was made, and this past June, a sponsor of the competition called Talus began its mission to donate these blankets to homeless shelters across Glasgow.
I found out that they were actually going to hand them out to homeless people, and I was very proud of that, yeah.
For the record, Rebecca does not plan on being an engineer, but instead a totally rad rockin' drummer, though she does use her artistic design skills to paint her face for Slipknot concerts with her parents.
And who likes Slipknot more, Mom or Rebecca?
Definitely Rebecca.
Still, Rebecca said she hopes other youngsters will see her story and ask themselves why shouldn't they be able to generate another great idea.
It's a good thing to help people.
That's our news for now. For more local news, you can visit us at CFTK-TV.com. All of our newscasts also go up on our YouTube and TikTok pages. Thanks for watching.